Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back into the Buster Show podcast. Today we have Neema Naz on the show, one of my favorite comedians in the world. How's it going, my friend?
Oh, damn. The pressure is on.
No, there's no pressure.
Pressure is on. No, it's cool, man. Thank you. I really appreciate that. It means a lot. Thank you. I'm
Of
happy to be here.
course. Thank you, thank you. Right before this, I was telling you, one of the things that I think is so fun about the way you sort of go about it is you test a lot of different styles, ideas, impressions without thinking too much about it. Some of my favorite of yours were obviously the Gary one,
Right.
Gary Vaynerchuk.
Mhm.
That impersonation is the reason why we met in the first place because
Yeah.
we met at VCon,
Be fun, yeah.
and then I've just seen you do so many others uh since then, and just the ability and willingness to just test and throw it out there. I love. How did that start, and how did you start with the both impressions and then just sharing stuff online?
Well, I've always naturally been doing impressions of people like my whole life. Even as a kid, I would like sit around our family gatherings, with our relatives, my parents' friends, and make fun of my mom and my dad and my family members and just make them laugh. And so I've always just had a knack of like impersonating other people, whether it's people in my family, my friends, or just strangers or celebrities or whatever. And yeah, man. So when I first started doing comedy like 7, 8 years ago, when I was doing content on YouTube originally, I was like, what's the easiest thing I can start with? So obviously, like, making videos about my mom, stuff like that, our own culture. And then eventually start to like go into like, some accents and impressions that I could do. And yeah, I just love doing it, to be honest. It's the way my brain works, man. Like I gravitate towards, observing people and, bringing that to light in a way that other people wouldn't know how to do unless they like saw it, obviously, right?
Sure.
So
What are
yeah.
what are like the things that you're looking for when you're doing an impression? Are you looking for like the most outrageous features and aspects about that person, or what is it?
Yeah, it's a little bit of everything. Like first I just so actually so what the real thing here is that I anybody I impersonate is someone I actually look up to.
Right.
So like when I started doing the Gary Vee videos, like he was one of the first people who actually like really helped me change my life in a way, me and my brother, and just like help change our perspective on life and our mindset about everything. And so we really took in a lot of the knowledge that he was giving. And I kind of just took that method of what Gary talks about with like quantity over quality and like not letting judgments of other people get in the way, and I ran with that. I was like, you know what? Yeah, like if he's saying this and it's working for him, we're gonna try the same thing. We did it, and literally I started doing impressions of him, and it reached him. He shared it. He talked about it, and then brought us to VCon. So I'm like, well, so fucking if I can get the attention of the king of social media at this point,
Yeah.
and like anything's possible. So that's why I was like, after that, I was like on a hunt almost to be like, all right, who else can I fucking get? And but like at the same time, I actually do like I've read Gary's books. I've read David Goggins' his first book, Can't Hurt Me. Like I really watch his content. I love his stuff. It's really inspiring to me. So I started doing David Goggins. He saw it, reposted it on his page. We talked a couple times now. It's pretty cool. Alex Hormozy, and then fucking like
Yep.
like stuff like that. Like I'm starting to do like Wim Hof and like Joe Rogan and stuff I want to do now. So yeah, like slowly but surely just adding to the arsenal. And like I said, these are all people I actually like listen to and I watch. And that's why I can do it so well. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's pretty much it.
I loved the Rogan impersonation.
Yeah, yeah,
Like it's
yeah, yeah.
it,
That needs work, obviously, but like that was my first
I
time
thought it was
posting.
good.
Thanks. Yeah, I appreciate that. Like, there's some parts obviously like are better than others, but it's like that's the whole point. Like you mentioned at the beginning of this, right? It's like the willingness to put stuff out and test it out just to see if it works or not. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the only way. And I actually posted this on my story today about like people saying like when you post something that oh this ain't it, or like this isn't it, or this didn't hit, or like oh you missed on this one. It's okay. Next, like so you get comments like that, but I'm like, well, like how are you supposed to grow? How are you supposed to get better at something if you don't put it out in the first place? It's a
No,
it's a
that
gym, right?
that's
So
yeah,
it's
all
a
100%. All that is valuable feedback.
it's fucking value, okay? Like you just gotta fucking just do it and not give a fuck. And that's what I'm good at. And that's why I'm proud of like having that mindset about it, to be honest. But and I hopefully I can inspire other people to do the same. Just same way Gary Vee inspired me to like, do this shit. So
Sure, definitely. It's a chain reaction. Have you ever been worried about your voice getting stuck in that high octave?
sometimes for sure. I'm like, yo, who am I right now? I don't know. Do I have multiple borderline personality disorder? Or I don't know. Am I fucked? But no. More than anything, I just worry about like actually just straining my voice
Yeah.
if I do something too much. That's why like I somewhat wean off of like the harder ones. Like I don't do it as much or as often, and I try to do it once in a while so it doesn't like hurt my voice.
The best advice I ever got for broadcasting, like doing play by play for long sports events, was tea and honey and don't talk on the phone. That was the big one that I didn't expect because people tend to talk louder and strain their voice when they're on the phone without even realizing it.
True. Just like
So
even podcasts, man.
yeah,
Well,
totally.
online podcasts, yo, I'm gonna talk quietly the rest of the time. I'm too
starts
loud. I'm already too loud.
starts starts doing ASMR into the microphone.
Interesting podcast, Buster.
No, yeah, that testing aspect is good. It's a really hard hump to get over, but like the way that I think is probably appropriate to look at is early on nobody's listening to you anyways, and then later on you've built up enough of an audience to be able to actually get feedback from people. So sort of just like a win-win when you're just trying stuff, but
Yeah, that's the way I see it too. I'm like, and the more you put out, the more you try things, the more fresh it remains as well. Like it doesn't become stale. Like for example, like honestly, like the Gary Vee videos I was doing, like after a while, it's like okay, like it's like you've done everything you could really do with it. So it's like at some point you have to just start like quietly getting rid of certain characters and accents and because like it's been done so much, right? So you have to be okay with moving on as well. But like that's the whole point of trying new stuff is to get better at the newer stuff, so that becomes fresh, and then it's like a cycle. Just gotta keep on.
it's so funny for all these people too, because I can only imagine it's such an honor to have people do an impersonation of you. Like that's as like that awards. I mean, that's like as high as it gets.
Yeah, I know. So that to Gary Vee's point, he's the one who said it like many times on podcasts at VCon. He's like, yo, like the fact that people are imitating me tells me like, I've made it. Like I've obviously like done something big enough that like other people look up to me in a way that they imitate me. So it's like it's a nod. It's a nod to like who you are and what you've become.
And then from your standpoint, you're just like handing out Oscars like you're Oprah, in that.
Yeah, exactly. It makes you feel good, right? It's like to my brother's point today, he's like, "Yo, Gary Vee, like the moment you impersonate someone, like everyone wants to see that right away. Like if someone impersonated you like today, like you would find it, you would see it. Like I don't know, I
Of
feel like
course.
you definitely want to watch that right away. So that's the kind of the perspective I have too. Is like okay, like if I do an impression of Alex Hormozy or David Goggins, like like I feel like it'll be a cool thing for them to watch. So that's why I do it because I know there's a higher chance of my videos being seen by those people.
I mean, I think
And
now the chances are going to be 100%, because people there aren't 1,000 Gary impersonations on the internet, especially ones that are funny.
yeah, exactly. And every single one of them too. Like no one else does Alex Hormozy. No one else does David Goggins at all. Really,
Yeah.
like I've never seen it. Even like yeah, like Wim Hof, like all these guys. Like, it's weird to me because I'm like, how am I the only one who's actually doing it and getting their attention?
It's
And
so
but in a way, I'm like, it's like, why aren't more people doing this? Because like if I can get their attention, they're like resharing it or it's getting traction, then it's like weird that other people wouldn't do it. So I don't know.
most people aren't funny.
Okay, well, that's also true. I guess I gotta be a little bit real there too. Like it's like not everyone can do exactly what I do too. So it's like it's a unique
No,
thing.
nobody can do exactly what you do. That's for
No,
sure.
and for sure, yeah. But yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And it's funny too, because like in our own circles, like of our friends and people who like consume similar content, you feel like everybody and their mom, like everybody in the world knows who David Goggins is. Everybody in the world knows who, Joe Rogan is. Everybody in the world knows Gary and Wim Hof and all these people. But then you actually talk to people who you don't know, and nobody has any idea who these
Oh, I
people are. It's the
know.
craziest, like,
No.
mind, mess up
Yeah.
ever.
Crazy. So true. Gary talks about that too all the time. He's like, yeah, he has 10 million followers, but if you zoom out and you look at all the people in the world, that's fucking nothing. That's less than 1% of the world, pretty much, I think.
Yeah, even Mr. Beast talks about it all the time. He's like,
Yeah,
I'll be walking around and nobody over the age of 50 knows who he is. And
that's what I'm saying.
it's
Exactly.
crazy how the internet like segments us. Like the algorithm segments like even just people who know who we anyone is. Uh
Yeah.
the perception is definitely flawed as well, just because of
100%.
that,
Well, because you think everyone's on social media, but like you have to realize a lot of people aren't on social media. And, and so like how would they know who these people are? And even fucking Cristiano Ronaldo, like there's people still don't know who that guy is. And that guy has the most followed on the internet. So
Yeah.
like that should be enough perspective to one, not give a fuck what you even do. Because like who cares? At the end of the day, like most people don't give a fuck. And
Yeah.
also to like, yeah, no, this doesn't even matter.
Yeah, and I mean, it's funny. Like, if Cristiano Ronaldo walked in my parents' house, neither of them would know who he is.
That's what I'm saying. Same. Like
It's like what?
exactly. Yeah. My mom would be like, "Who is this? Oh, okay. Is that a sport? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Okay, well, you want food? Like, I was like, they don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
So,
no, it's so true. And you're right. It really doesn't matter, because even like the people who you think care about you don't actually care about you. And then there are like the people who like actually don't care, like intentionally don't care. And then there's everybody else. And it's like you do your thing, you keep going, you have fun doing it, and call it a day.
that's it, man. You have your market, just fucking run with it, and that's it. Like, and you can't control the amount of people who see your shit. Like, it's just naturally got to happen. So I don't know. Yeah, like, and that's why I'm saying a lot of people do get discouraged because they think they need to have some arbitrary number for them to label them as like making it. But I don't think there's any. No, it's subjective. It's I don't know. I don't believe in that. Like you could make it at 200,000 or 20 million, depending on what you do. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, there are infinite nuances, such as someone with 10,000 followers can change the direction of a company, whereas someone with 3 million followers can't sell 5 t-shirts. So
Yeah, exactly. They're
there's
off brand. Yeah,
all
exactly.
along the way, there's
Yeah,
variables at each level.
100%.
Also, I think, there's a lot of value, like depending on the niche. I mean, it depends if we're talking like dollars or what makes people happy. Like people who talk about finance can have 1/1000th the followers as like a girl who's just posting on the beach.
Shaking our ass.
And the finance person is going to make, I mean, depending on whether that girl is doing some other,
Right.
some other business opportunities,
Yeah,
then
yeah, that's it.
the finance guy is going to have a really high CPM.
Yeah,
So
and yeah, it's about brand, honestly, and that's why we've realized recently is like, you can have a bunch of followers, but if you don't have a brand, then this means nothing. And so that's why someone who has way less followers could have a huge brand and make way more money and whatever you're selling, than the guy who has like millions.
how do you feel about like the state of comedy right now online?
One, it's saturated a lot, especially with every fucking app becoming TikTok. But at the same time, I don't know, like you just gotta like run with it. You have to like you can't beat the system. You can't beat the algorithms. You just gotta like use what the tools of each platform of what they give you and just do your shit and you'll be rewarded one way or another with the more output you have. And but yeah, like overall from what I see, I'm like most stuff I watch isn't that funny. But and I'm not like saying like and it's subjective obviously,
Yeah.
but the same time, like I've been doing comedy for a while now, and like I watch a lot of comedy. I'm a huge comedy fan, and I'm a comedian, so like I don't know, I can somewhat separate what's actually funny and what's not. Like, but then again, like you can make the argument doesn't even matter because this person has all these followers and they love this person's content. So what? Who am I to judge? Um, but yeah, like there's just a lot of like the same shit all the time, same trends, same like no one's. It's hard to find more of the original comedy than not. Um,
Sure. Yeah.
yeah,
From
especially this TikTok era,
oh yeah.
TikTok comedy. Like I don't know, it's like this weird new generation of kids are just making some cringe ass comedy. I don't know what the fuck's going on, but yeah,
Um, comedy uh is interesting to me from the sense of like the individuals because Leo Messi, LeBron James, Tiger Woods are objectively agreed upon by the whole world at being good at their sport,
yeah,
right?
they're good.
People argue about whether Jerry Seinfeld is funny,
That's what I'm saying. It's
you
such a
know?
different world, man. It's like yeah, exactly. Like, but you could arguably say he's one of the goats. Like he's one of the best of all time.
Of course.
But
Yeah.
even still, some people are like, nah, he's fucking shit. It's unfunny. What are you gonna do? People think Kevin Hart is not funny. People think Dave Chappelle is not funny. Like so, like, I don't know. It's such a weird. You can't engage it. I don't know.
Yeah, the way that online, even since I've been doing stuff on social in the last 5, 10 years, even, it feels like it's completely reshaped comedy though, and it's given people like the tools, like in basically every other industry, to be able to sort of skip a lot of the barriers that were in place before. How from everything I've heard, you used to have to like go to shows and like do that every day and every night over and over and over and over again, where now you have people who have a couple great videos and people are willing to go see them.
Yeah, it's the new era, man. Like, and that's the beauty of like nowadays. Is like 10 years ago, you couldn't just like build an audience and then do your own shows. You had to do everyone else's shows in person and just hope people would follow you or like I don't know somehow find you and like buy tickets to your show down the line. Now, like you don't even need to be a stand-up comedian, which I don't, which I'm not for, to be honest, because I don't know, like some of these like content, online comedians, you know, try to like label themselves as like real comedians, like by doing live shows, but that's not the case at all. That you can't argue against because you can't just like you can't fake that. Like doing stand up is a complete different game than doing content online. Like you be funny online, like the funniest person, and be absolutely garbage on stage. And most of these online comedians are garbage on stage, but that's because they don't know how different it is. And like
Are people like not laughing at their jokes, or how does it play out for these people?
100%, man. Like I know examples of certain people just like through the grapevine of like them doing shows, these stand-up shows, and tanking, and like they're not doing real jokes. They're just doing their act online on stage, but that's not stand-up. And so and then they end up doing terribly, and then they wonder why their career's not going anywhere because they don't work on stand-up either. They're not stand-up comedian. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm a stand-up comedian. Like I've been doing stand-up for like 8 years, and so but at the same time I've been doing content too, but like I actually know it's like how to do stand up, and that's why like when I put on a tour recently, like real like, and that's the thing. And the fucked up part is even my own audience who like follows me, have been following me for years, didn't even know I did stand up all this time. So when they came to the shows, they didn't know what to expect. They thought like I was gonna do like just like some impressions or accents or whatever the fuck online
But
on stage.
you've been working on this for a long time.
Yeah, for years. And like I have a whole 45, 50-minute routine like of jokes, not just like impressions and accents. Those are included in it, like in a different way. Like, but it's not the whole thing. Like I actually have like stories or like jokes about my family or whatever it is, right? And so like after the shows, everyone leaves like almost with like this like feeling of oh my god, like I blew them out of the water in a way, like you know what I'm saying, like I blew their expectations, like I went
Right.
above and beyond, right? Because they didn't know, like they didn't know how good I would be. I'm not saying I'm the best. I'm just saying they didn't even know I did stand up. So that's why I look so good when I do a show in front of them, and like I blow them out of the water because they're like they just thought I was just like an online comedian, but I'm not. And so but most of these people who have big followings and they put on these live shows, they're not stand-up comedians. And they end up sucking on stage. And then like they don't end up like no one's gonna come back because what are they really doing? You know what I'm saying? But
Under promise, over deliver. If they go in expecting
exactly.
to be like all the other,
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
comedians.
And we actually have like literally examples of every show I did like this past year. Like people like my own fans would come to the shows. At the end, when like I meet them and take pictures and stuff, like they would always tell me, they would be like, honestly, like I had no idea like this would be good. Like I didn't think it was gonna be this good. Like you know what I'm saying? Like they thought it was gonna be bad. Like which is weird. Like you know what I'm saying? But I don't blame them. I also don't blame them, right? Because like they didn't see any of my stand up before. Like they followed me for the content.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, anyway.
And the only way to develop that skill, in your opinion, is to do those shows daily for years.
Well, that's how I did it. Like, yeah, like I do believe you need to get like the 10,000 hours like on stage. You know what I'm saying? Like you need to like with anything else, you need to just like hone that craft first in order to become decent or like good. You know what I mean? Like I
And
had to do
I don't think I've ever heard of any famous comedian that's good at stand up having a substitute for that.
no, there's no substitute. You have to get on stage as much as possible. And you have to tank. You have to bomb night after night. Like 3 open mics, 3 shows a night, like just like one after the other and just eat shit, literally. Same way Gary talks about eating shit on videos, right? Like
Gonna
your
say
videos bomb, that you gotta bomb on stage too. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the only way you're gonna get better. So and it's a different muscle, man. It's like it's a totally different thing than online.
that's a very difficult skill to hone when you're starting, the ability to eat crap like that IRL, because
I
like
know.
I
Trust
get
me.
it from an online perspective, like you try something new and it doesn't do well, but like you put the phone down and nothing actually changes in your surroundings, the room still looks the same,
Yeah,
go
exactly.
you go to the gym, it's still the
Yeah.
same, but IRL, whew,
You're
how did you
fucked.
deal with that, dude?
Trust me, bro. Yeah, trust me. Years for 4 years straight, pretty much. Like most of the shows I did, open mics, just like no laughs, maybe a couple chuckles. Like I don't know, you don't know what you're doing. You're just like you're eating so much shit on stage. Like you're up there sweating, you're stuttering because you're doing so bad. People are staring at you, just like looking at you like this, just like deadpan. You know what I'm saying? Like, um, but the more you do it, the more comfortable you get with failing and bombing, that you actually start having fun. And that's when you start getting laughs and you start getting better.
Right.
And that's the trajectory that I went through after like 4 or 5 years. So really only in the past 2, 3 years, I've been like doing well on stage. But even still, man, like people like Kevin Hart and like Dave Chappelle, like Sebastian Maniscalco, Bill Burr, whoever, they still bomb to this day, like, right. But that's okay. Like this is just a part of the craft. It's part of the art. And even with the online stuff, it's like everyone's gonna have a bad video, but it doesn't mean you're bad. Doesn't mean you have to be bad, right? Like you can always improve the next time and just keep going, right? So that's the
That's
way I see it.
Man, it's true in basically every industry too. Athletes have bad games, content
Yeah, exactly.
creators have bad videos. Uh, I mean, you hope the people in charge of more important things don't have as bad days, but everybody has bad days.
Yeah, heart surgeon having a bad heart surgery, killing someone. It's fine, man. Like just get to the
It's
next
a bad
one.
day. You got it.
You got it,
quantity,
sir.
quantity over
Quality over
quality
quality. Exactly.
for the heart surgeon.
Yeah, don't judge yourself, my man. Okay, just like keep fucking moving. Okay.
The guy who's in charge of FAA, NASA
Yeah,
programs,
yeah.
quantity over quality.
Quantity over quantity. Just send the fucking rockets up, my man. Send the fucking rockets.
We got more. We got more.
We got more coming. Who cares? Yeah, launch them.
Oh my god. What do you is what you're doing now what your goal was originally
Like what with
when you were just getting into comedy, doing on stage? having the social presence that you do now and touring and that sort of thing? Was that always the goal from the beginning, or did you want to get into like acting and other areas?
So, I started with the intention of doing everything that has to do with comedy and acting, and I also do act too. Like I just did a movie recently too.
Let's
So like,
go.
yeah, man, like it was a lead role in a movie. Finished filming, is coming out this fall.
No
Um,
way.
yeah, man, yeah, it's
I'm
gonna be sick.
excited. That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a funny movie, and yeah, like I just like I started. I dropped out of university to pursue comedy. Like this is my goal in life, is to like literally just go all in,
Mhm.
100%. I want to be the best stand-up comedian. I want to be the best content creator, the best actor. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, like I always manifested in a way this life, and one way or another it was going to happen. It was inevitable for me. So, and that's it. So whenever like things are going slow or it's not popping off, yeah, I'm not worried because I know eventually it's going to keep going in that direction.
It's the power of compounding. And what do they say? Uh, luck is the definition, or consistency is the definition of luck. That's what it is. I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, exactly.
It's
Yeah.
true. It's true.
I don't know, just with effort and consistency, like you can't go wrong.
But
A little
I
bit of luck comes along and it'll help you a lot.
it's a powerful message, man. A very hard mindset for most to get around, and it takes a while. Even if you are like incredibly passionate about something, it takes years to develop. Anyways, thank you so much for coming on. Where the hell can people find you?
You can find me on every social media app, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, plenty of fish. You know what I mean? Just swiping away. But no, yeah, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. My main platform is Twitter. At Neema Naz. That's my name on every single app. So Neema Naz, two E's on the first.
I don't know what it is about the high pitched voice, but every time
So
people
fun.
just
It's fun, man. I love doing
well,
it.
thanks so much, man. Keep crushing it. We're all rooting for you. Welcome back anytime.
Appreciate you, brother. Take care, Buster.
All right, everybody. We'll see you next time. Peace.